Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the BFG Podcast. Today I have a guest that needs no introduction. She is one of the legends of New Zealand entertainment. Please welcome to the show the incredible Suzy Cato. It's a pleasure to have you on the show, Suzy.
Hey, thank you so much, Blake. An honor to be here. Can I sing my hello song?
Pardon?
Can I sing my hello song?
You're most welcome to if you like.
Thank you. It's our time, kia ora, talofa. It's our time, a special time of day. It's our time, just you and me together. It's time to say hello, g'day, que te pea que. Hello, my friend. How are you
Hello,
today?
hello, how are you? Thank you
I'm
for the
very good,
kind
Blake.
introduction. Now, this show is going to be more for your parents out there rather than your kids. So just so you know before we begin.
Fantastic.
So I'll steal one of your catchphrases. If you are sitting comfortably, parents, I will begin.
Wonderful. What kind of story are you going to tell us, Blake?
Well, I'm going to ask you a story about your career.
Okay.
So, you started on saying something simple when you were very young. And back then you had a co-star that you did it with, if I'm not mistaken. Uh,
Ah.
on some of the videos anyway. So, how did that first show start?
Well, my very first show, once I finished radio, I'd been in radio for a few years, and my very first show was in 1990. I started when I was only 5.
Oh,
No,
I missed the early bird. You're right. I'm sorry.
no, that's fine. I just thought you might have muddled the name up. So the early bird show was with Russell Rooster, and yo, doodle doo, dude, have a cock a doodle day was his catchphrase. And there were four or five puppets, and they decided that they needed a human to try and bring about the smile and make a bit more of a connection with the camera. Russell was fantastic. He had so much energy and so much enthusiasm, but he had the same smile on his beak when he was saying, "Hey, dude, you've just won a prize." When he said, "Oh, sorry to hear your dog died." So they decided they decided to bring a human into the picture. And I got a telephone call, and out of the blue, got invited to be a part. I'd met the producer for the show a year earlier, and so it was wonderful to be invited in to meet the team, have a sit around the table, look at the script and the bullet points for what we were going to do for the show, and then next minute I know I'm on live TV, and I was told about 3 months later if I hadn't made it through the first few pieces to camera, those first few breaks on the show, then I would have been given a pat on the head, some petrol vouchers, and I would have been told, not quite see you later. That song hadn't been invented at that stage, but I wouldn't have lasted very long.
And then after that, because you, if I'm not mistaken, you when you first started, you were in your late teens to early 20s.
That's right.
So, so how was it? Was it daunting starting so young and feeling like, okay, I've got all this pressure of having to perform to these children who I have to imagine that are there most of the time, every day. And how long did it take you to sort of adjust to the fact that I need to talk to the camera like they're there? Did you do it quite quickly or did it take a few years?
Oh, look, it was surprisingly quickly, but I think what really helped is that I'd been in radio for 3 years. So, and I'd started in radio as a 17-year-old, straight from school. I'd got a job in the copywriting department of KCCFM in Whangarei. So I started copywriting. I then moved through to, scheduling the advertisements and got to go and do some live promotions. So started out being one of those people that hands out the stickers and the chocolate bars. And then I got to be on the radio saying, "Hi, it's Suzy here. We're down outside whatever shop and we've got these things. Come on down, come and see us, be a part of the show," type thing. So had that experience. Then I got to do a couple of little air shifts. I got to fill in on a Sunday afternoon. And then I got my own air shift from 7 until midnight. So when you're in a little slightly bigger than a wardrobe, but you're in a tiny little space with a microphone and you are talking to a wall, basically. It's very much like making television. You've got to communicate as if somebody's there in the room with you. So I'd had 3 years practice before I got to perform in front of the camera. And I've always loved performance. I love being on the stage, giving speeches, dancing, singing, whatever. So yeah, it was surprisingly easy to slip into that mode. But I had such a good team around me as well. No training, but you're just thrown in the deep end. But there was a good team and we had a lot of fun.
So you did, as I was trying to say earlier, you did something simple. You did You and Me, and
Mhm.
then you did Suzy's World. So how did those three shows compare to the other ones? Because
Okay.
Suzy's World was more for the older kids,
Yeah, well, it
and
really, yeah.
the other two were for the younger generation.
That's right. Well, see, the early bird show was for pretty much kids of all ages, but probably more the 5 to 9 year olds. It was Saturday and Sunday mornings, and it was all those cartoons, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and things like that. So we were saying, Cowabunga, dude, and guys, don't go into the stormwater drains. That's only for the real rats.
Mm-hmm.
So trying to encourage kids. But so that was a slightly older age group. Then I had 3 p.m., which was an older age group as well. We kind of started with preschoolers and went through to even college kids coming home from school. And then came You and Me, which was really a step back for many people. Everybody said to me, "What are you doing? Why are you going? Why aren't you going to be the weather girl or a game show host or something like that?" But I saw such value and in the way that we were connecting with the young people, young viewers, with You and Me. It was so beautifully written and it was such a wonderful conversation. That program in particular has been a real highlight for me in my career. Sing Something Simple were all the songs from You and Me packaged together in a show. And we had the bedtime storybook come out and things like that. And I even published my own stories around that time. And then we had Suzy's World. Now that was completely different. The funding for You and Me was coming to an end, and they basically approached me and said, "What kind of program would you like to do next? We really enjoy what you do. What would you like to do?" And I thought, oh, maybe I grow with the child and still go along that whole educational thing, but instead of counting and um, ABCs, let's delve into the science of things. What's happening, get our kids out away from the screen, out into their backyard looking for bugs and all those sorts of things. So it's about encouraging the kids to be inquisitive, to be curious, to ask questions, to want more. And I actually formed my own production company to make that program. So that's another one that holds an immense place in my heart. Um,
We'll get on to the that this a bit later on, but is that how what we see when we see your YouTube channel now, what we will go into a little bit later on. So
mhm.
that was the birth of your YouTube channel, your like your production company.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, the production company started for Susie's World, and then I have my kids' radio show that's been going for coming up 15 years. And so that's on 26 radio stations around the country. So my production company's been making that. But you mentioned earlier that I get involved with other children's productions. So my production company made Brian and Bobby. That might have been one that you watched when you were younger, Blake. Did you watch that one?
I didn't watch your other stuff. I mainly watched your stuff
Oh, okay. Well, so
because
Brian,
at the time when I was younger, I didn't actually realize that it was made by you till I got a lot older.
sure, sure.
Because I'm now in my early 20s. I'll be 24 at the end of this year. So now I'm getting on to the adult life, trying to start this, making a career out of it. So interviewing wonderful people like you and Peter Millett.
And you're doing such a fabulous job of it too. Well done. Living your
Yeah,
dream.
because as I say to all my guests, I want to be able to show that people with disabilities can get into the media too.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. But anyway, back to your career. So you did Suzy's World, and then Brian and Bobby, and a few other adventures after that. And then, apart from the radio, what I didn't even know you had till the other day, so my apologies for that. Um, you actually took a break for a while, and then you didn't sort of, as the term goes now, resurface really until your appearance on, as it happens, the Fair Go Out Awards one year, and then around the same time, we saw you appear on Dancing with the Stars. So, taking that break from TV, how was that for you after doing it for so many years? Was it a relief or was it scary because you were still doing your other background work like Brian and Bobby and etc.?
Um, it was scary. It wasn't my choice. It was TV3's choice. They decided that they no longer wanted any Susie's World episodes and that they wanted a break from Susie. They wanted to do something new. So that was a huge shock because having been with them for so many years and loving what I was doing um, and doing quite well with it, really doing a good job, I thought. It was a bit of a shock to be let go. But I'd also had several miscarriages. So when you have your own production company, you're the presenter, you're doing a lot of the writing yourself, all those sorts of things. It puts immense pressure on you, and it put immense pressure on my body, I think. So it was really good to be able to take that time to grow my family. So I got my first lot of funding for Brian and Bobby while I was pregnant with my daughter, my eldest. I got my second lot of funding for the second series of Brian and Bobby when I was pregnant with my son. And it took us a lot longer to get money for the third series because I wasn't having any more kids. So if we'd had a third one, maybe I would have got my funding more quickly. But yeah, no, it was important to have that time to build my family. And yeah, I made the opportunity as positive as possible. There's no point in getting too upset. You do have to move on. So by taking that break, I took some time at a radio station called Big FM, and that was when my kids' radio show started. And we grew that to, as I say, over the last 15 years, it's now on 26 radio stations around the country.
Yeah, so free follow up that sort of go into this. Did you ever approach TVNZ? Did you feel sort of let down or stabbed in the back? I don't know how you would word it. I'm trying to tread carefully. Let down or stabbed in the back by TV3, and d- did you ever think you would never come back again?
Um, well, I did look at it as a time of, I did reflect and go, hey, maybe it's a time for a break. Maybe it's time to change my career and do something different. And I'd looked at various other things. I have got my massage um, degree. I had done several courses and I was looking at maybe going into massage and therapy and things like that because they're things I've always been very interested in. Um, Going and doing some holistic studies and things like that. But everything that I looked at, I was looking at in terms of what I would do for families and, oh, how could I then use my broadcasting skills to bring that to the community? So everything was still, even months later or a year or so later, it was still about what I would do within broadcasting or for the audience. So I I've spoken to TVNZ over the years about a couple of projects, and nothing's quite gelled. And I haven't really had any conversations other than Dancing with the Stars with three. Um, and it's been a case of just creating my own content and doing my own thing, which has given me freedoms as a broadcaster that you might not normally have when you're with a broadcaster like one of TVNZ or TV3.
When that time finally came to come back, were you like, yes, finally, and you were starting the YouTube channel, you were doing Dancing with the Stars, as you said. Was that like a relief for you finally? I get to come back and do what I love again.
Definitely. Look, loved it and loved Dancing with the Stars. Oh my goodness. That was such an amazing opportunity. Incredibly challenging physically. I was not one for exercise, I'll be honest with you, Blake. So the moment I got the telephone call saying, am I interested in it? I went, right, I better start going for a walk. And I went for a walk every morning leading up to dancing because I'd had no fitness. So I needed some level of fitness. And I hadn't done any extra dance training other than asking my young nephew, who is a dance instructor himself, and has danced in the ballroom dance room circuit here in New Zealand. I asked him to take me for a couple of spins around the floor because I was scared that I was going to either crush my dance partner's toes or not remember how the dance moves. So he very patiently took me for a couple of dances. But it was wonderful to reconnect and show people a different side of me and to challenge myself in such an amazing way. I did love the frocks. Wasn't so keen on all the spray tans, but I did love all the hair and makeup and the frocks, and my dance partner was gorgeous and he was so patient and so kind.
And so, how long before they started filming did you find out who your dance partner was going to be?
We had about a month together before we started dancing, so I only found out a month beforehand. So that gave us a chance to get some of the basics done and to get used to being in each other's personal space. Well, he's quite used to that sort of thing. It was me that took a bit more to get used to that.
And as we record this for my YouTube channel, the current season is just about to wrap up. Unfortunately, it's had to be condensed because of COVID-19 and some several delays. So how much pressure do you reckon that puts on the entire group that's performing as we record this to do it in a much more condensed format than what you would have done in season 1 of the reboot, as they now call them?
Like it's putting immense pressure on them because I can't remember how many weeks we had. We would have had about 10 weeks, I think, and they're in dancing within 6 weeks. And in those first 2 weeks, we had those eliminations. So that was a big shock for everybody. Whereas when we were dancing, at least the first week, we were there just to dance and have our marks and things like that. And there was nobody eliminated. Nobody got eliminated until the following week. So there you've got that chance to just enjoy the moment and get used to the environment. So the fact that the elimination started from week 1 is incredible. And as you can tell, the audience hasn't been too impressed with it either. It's been a big shock for everybody.
Now, in between that, you did a cameo for Fair Go doing their version of the Ad Awards before COVID. So that was pretty cool too for you.
Oh,
What
yeah.
was that like?
Yeah, it was great. Around that time, so many wonderful things happened. So I got interviewed by Anika Moore. Do you remember seeing that?
Oh yes, I watched it at the time it came out. That was great.
Oh, look, dancing in those little frocks on Dancing with the Stars was one thing. Dancing around a park in a unitard with Anika was another thing altogether. Oh, she's a card.
She's a character, isn't she?
Isn't she just? Would you be prepared to do something like that for your art, Blake?
Well, I can't walk around, so it's...
No, but you could zoom around in your chair in a unitard. What do you reckon?
So how did you get approached to do the little Fair Go cameo?
Oh, look, people reach out and there's a few exciting things coming up that I can't tell you about yet, Blake. You'll have to talk to me about it later in the year or something. But there's a few little things that I don't have a manager or an agent, so people need to find me and contact me directly. And so...
Like myself.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Well, I think Peter helped there. He reached out and said, my friend Blake's going to give you a call. And I went, oh, great, okay. So I knew you were coming. I've been given a heads up.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, it's that sort of thing. So I've been lucky over the years. I perhaps without having a manager or an agent, I have missed out on some opportunities. I haven't been invited to certain things, but those that have come along have been wonderful to be a part of.
And we'll do maybe if people are interested, depending on what response it gets on your social media and my if I get any response on my channel, because it's still small at the moment, just started, still growing. Maybe we can do a follow up.
Maybe, guys, respond.
Yeah. So let us know in the comments of Suzy's Facebook or Instagram if you want to see a um um follow up, and let me know on Twitter or somewhere from me if you want to hear it as well. We'd be interested to know. Anyway, last topic before we get caught up to where you are now is you did the Masked Singer as well for TV3.
Oh no! Can you actually say that I did the Masked Singer? I was only there for one episode, Blake. Oh
Well,
my
yes.
goodness.
Well, we'll call it another cameo then.
Good idea. Oh, that was so much fun though.
So when I spoke to Mike McRoberts a few weeks ago about his time on the show, he said it was very he. I was thinking of a way that I could describe it to you. I don't know if you've seen the episode or not yet, but he sort of described it that it was very top secret. So the best word I could come up with to talk about it reminded me of Mission Impossible. It was sort of because they said you had to meet in a sort of secret location. Well, she did tell me, but I can't repeat, obviously. And you had to sort of be picked up and taken to the studio and hidden from other people. So he said it was quite a fun experience as a male. But as a female, what was it like? Was it any different?
Definitely. It was all top secret. We had to turn up at a secret location. We had to wear hoodies and baggy clothing, you had to tuck our hands up into our sleeves, not have any of our skin showing. Luckily, everybody had the big masks. So because we started after that first lockdown, so we were all masked up anyway, but they provided extra big masks to go over the top. And when we actually got to the location, we weren't allowed to speak. Once we left the room that we were in, we weren't allowed to speak until we got into the studio in our costumes. And even then, the only thing we could do was act out our song as opposed to talking, because otherwise our voices would be recognized. So we couldn't let anybody know. There was only like the makeup artist or the stylist for the costume who knew who we were.
So, for example, Mike didn't know you were there either, and you didn't know Mike
No,
was there.
no, didn't know anything. I didn't even know what the other costumes looked like until that first episode, and we could see it in the trailer.
So you had to watch it all back to find out what happened.
Yeah, yeah. So unlike Dancing with the Stars, where you are out the back or on the side of the stage, I think the season we were up. Sorry, the season that I was in, we had that big stage that we all sat on, and in a big semicircle, and we watched the performance. Um, Nothing like that. It was all top secret. We didn't have a clue who else. And I was up against the Jolly Tuatara in my first episode, the winner. Oh my goodness.
But, but some of those, I must say, some of those people on that season were so good.
Of the Masked Singer.
Yeah, and such a surprise too.
Yes. Yeah, again, those voices, you weren't expecting them. And I guess the same with Dancing with the Stars. You're not expecting those people to dance the way they do.
Because I have many hobbies. I like interior design, media, sports, sports media like this, any type of media really, interior design, and but I also like to do a bit of music myself, and I like to when I'm not singing because I haven't been able to for a few years. I like to do a bit of talent scouting on different television shows, so I learned a lot about looking for the quality of voice, and that sort of thing. And I was really impressed with some of the quality on the that season of The Masked Singer. I was so surprised.
Yeah, it was incredible. It was an honor to have been in that first season, and an honor, I guess, to have made history being the first to be unmasked.
Yeah, so you were on that with Reese Darby, who was a comedian. I mean, as one of the judges,
Yeah,
and comedy is also one of my many other hobbies. I like to do a bit of stand up here and there when I can. I haven't done it for a while again because of COVID, obviously.
sure.
But like many other things. But what was it like working with Reese? Because he came back from the States officially for that.
Oh, I didn't actually get to ever work with him properly because I was on stage and he was in the row of judging panel. And then, of course, he was guessing who I was without knowing who I was inside my costume. But of course, when he found out who I was, he dashed up onto the stage and gave me a big hug, which was absolutely lovely. The only other time I've really worked with him is when I was at a school's book week and we were both there to promote our books. So he shared a table with me. He had his stack of books on one side and I had my stack of books on the other. So that was pretty cool.
So what was it like seeing? Was it like seeing him and people like Taika Waititi doing so big in the US market?
Oh, it is fantastic to see any Kiwi doing so well overseas and doing it not changing who they are. That's the same character or the same person. Um, and often with a Kiwi accent or celebrating being Kiwi. Oh, that is such a wonderful thing. Makes my heart sing. Just wish more of us were able to do it.
So as we wrap up here, have you got a message for all the parents that might be watching when we share on our different platforms and what they've meant to you over the years, or what they can do to continue to support you, and anything you want to say around that?
Hey, well, I feel so very honoured to have been a part of people's lives for so long. How many generations now, Blake? I'd hate to think. Um,
Three, I
it,
think.
has been pretty special because grandparents used to watch me. A lot of people, a lot of adults, yes, but of the likes of you and me, a lot of adults would watch the program, and it was a way of connecting in. So even back then, grandparents might watch it because they were home alone, and I might be the only person in their day that said, "Hello, my friend. How are you? Are you having a good day?" Which, when I first heard that as a 20 something, it was such an honor. It was such, in some ways, such a responsibility as well. So to have been a part of people's lives for so long is incredible. And the fact that home learning TV during COVID time gave me the opportunity to connect in with a whole new generation as well. And now with what I'm doing with my own songs and books and live shows, I've just come back from during the school holidays performing at Te Papa with Chris Lamb Sam of the Funky Monkeys, and then going down to Dunedin and being a part of the Wild Dunedin team and singing a whole lot of songs about nature and this beautiful earth that we live on with Rainbow Rosalind and Mr. Robberelli. Um, it's connecting with that audience and having those hugs that I used to have when I did live shows for you and me. And I did something like 50 of them in one year. So I'd go and visit one area in the morning and then go and visit another area in the afternoon. And I'd sing, "It's our time," and "It's shoulders, knees, and toes," and all those sorts of things. And then have a photograph taken with the kids and their parents or their caregiver who brought them. And that was something so special. You'd give a child a hug, and then they might race off to their parents or caregiver's arms, and that hug kind of got extended to the parents.
And a
So
cool, yeah. Sorry, I'll let you finish.
no, it's just it's that energy, it's that love that gets shared, and that's something that I try and do on all my platforms. Is still be a positive. Oh my goodness, I still have rough days myself, or bad hair days, and all the rest of it. Being a human's a bit challenging, isn't it? So I try and be as positive as possible to be able to keep that message going through.
And a cool thing that I see on your Facebook from time to time, your um verified page, is that you talk about some of the viewers that you keep in touch with even now.
Yeah, definitely. So one thing I'm able to share, and I haven't been able to do it for the last couple of Thursdays because it's just been chaotic, but I try and do a blast from the past. What do they call it? Throwback Thursday, and
Yeah.
share a photograph of little ones that I've met. Well, when I met, they were little when I met them, and often I'm able to kind of mash them together with a picture that's been taken recently. So I've met them, that child as an adult, and that's so special that they've come along and had another photograph. Often sitting on my knee because that's how we took the photograph when they were tiny. And they'll be towering taller than me now, sitting on my knee having their photograph taken. It's very cute.
Well, it's been a pleasure to have you on my show uh, today, um, Susie, and thank you for coming on. And I'll just get you to sit there for a minute. And but to the viewers, I'll say don't forget to like and subscribe on this video. You can also check out Susie's Facebook page and Instagram. Is it Instagram as well?
Yeah, Facebook, Instagram. I occasionally tweet, but I'm a bit of a Twitter when it comes to a bit of a twit when it comes to twittering. So yeah, but I'm definitely on YouTube too.
Check out Susie on all of her social media platforms. Will you also be able to, uh, find all of her other content and her YouTube as well. But apart from that, We'll say I'll see you on the next episode.
See you later. It's time to say goodbye. Thanks for having me, Blake.